Hey, what's up, Drivetrain? Welcome back to another video. Hey, today we're going to talk about one thing that you can do at your next race, whether it's the Grands that are coming up in just a couple days or your next local race. We want to talk race strategy and how to perform better on your own race. Let's run the intro clip and get into it. So welcome back. Today is a race day here at our local track, and it's early in the morning. I was just thinking about a race that I had a couple months back, and I wanted to talk about race strategy, specifically the best way to perform at your best. I want you to race your race. Every time I teach a clinic or coach clinics for new riders, I'm always talking about, man, just ride your own race. Just get out the gate, kind of stay on the line that you know you should ride, don't override, don't try to really race anybody. Just go out and race your race. And what I mean by that is, especially with younger riders and folks that I see in like the 35 plus community that are just getting into racing, you have a whole lot of power. You have a lot of drive. You want to go faster, but you don't have the bike skills. And so a lot of times what I teach people is just get out of the gate, go ride, have fun, get around the track and learn how you can get better. Now, over the weeks and months, as you gain some good bike skills or they start to kind of, acclimate underneath you, that's when I want you to start to speed things up. And then we start to talk about race strategy. If you get out in front, how do you race? How do you hold the right line? What is the right line? Today, I want to talk about the first lap that I did where I raced my own race and the next two that I got in my own head and I messed up. And I ended up coming in second place overall for the day because of it. If I had raced my own race and done the same lap 3 times in a row, I would have won. I would have gotten the W, been on top of the podium that day. But instead, I gave it up to somebody else. He's a good racer, and unfortunately, he took a spill in one lap, but he still ended up overall with the win that day. So let's dive into the computer. We're going to hit the forward, backward button and kind of talk through these laps so you can see what I'm talking about here and get a feel for how I want you to race your own race. All right, so here we are. The race is just starting. Gate is getting ready to drop. Let's go. Now this is race 1, Moto 1 here. We come down, we're flying, we got my guy inside. He's got a head start. He pulled onto the table, which is awesome, and the triple. And here we go. Now he jumps way outside, but then goes back inside. I stay white line. I pass him right here. He's going way wide, and look, I take the second turn on the inside. I pass him, and now I ride position. So this was my lap. This is typically how I ride this track. I'm going to stay on the inside line, cut inside on the double. So that's that lap. That is a great lap. Let's just watch that back again right here. Let's go back to the beginning. So here we come out. We got the commands. All right, gate drops. We go down. He's a little ahead of me. He pulls on. He comes up. He pulls on again. I got to get my pulls. Man, that is keeping him ahead of me. But he rides, all right, high, and I just stay outside. Look how he cuts in. Right? And he's way on the outside of the track, and I'm just hiking the inside, and there we go. Make the pass in the second turn. All right, now let's go to Moto 2. All right, now before we go into Moto 2, let me tell you one thing that you didn't know. When we got to the end of lap 1, first, he was a little shocked that he got beat. He is just used to race at a higher level, and he ended up apparently doesn't ride with much competition. So he was a little shook by that. But when he got to the end, he made a statement. He said this. He said, "That's not going to happen again." That got in my head. Just that little statement, I said, oh man, what that told me, what I thought that told me was that when we come out of the first turn, he's going to cut to the inside and he's going to hold that white line and he's going to not let me pass him on the inside. So let's jump into Moto 2. Let's see how Moto 2 goes. Here we go. All right, commands are starting. Here we go. Now he's still on my inside, right? Because we just scoot over to 2 racks or whatever. So he's on my inside. He pulls on. You can see him there. He pulls on again. He's got me on track speed, which is a little upsetting. I need to work on that. Now, right here, right here, I thought, look at him, he's on the outside. I thought he's gonna hang out there, and so I dive to the inside. Well, watch what happens here. Nope, he cuts back to the inside. He tried to stay white line. He tried to stay the white line, but then he cut inside. If I had ridden my lap and stayed outside, guess where I'd be right now? I'd be on the inside of him, jumping the double, because that's what I do. But instead, I smacked my helmet. Well, that sucks too. I tried to over pump and I smacked the beak of my helmet, like the face protector, which knocked my GoPro down. So the footage looks subpar the rest of the lap, but let's see what we got here. Yep. So guess what? He is still in front of me, even though we can barely see what's going on. All right. So let's back up to the important part here. Right here, we're going into turn one. Let's see. Going into turn one, if I had stayed the course, if I hadn't gotten in my head, where would I normally be? I would be on his back tire on the outside, ready to ride the white line. But instead, I hiked on the inside. I tried to go a little bit high-low, but neither high nor low, which, well, that was horrible too. And so what happens? He cuts in right here. Look where I could have been. There's 2 feet of space out there on his right that I could have been passing him in the air like I did lap 1. All right, let's move on now to Moto 3, lap 3, and see what we get. All right, lap 3. Again, we just scoot over to the right, 2 racks, 2 gates. So he is still on my left. I think I'm in 7, he's in 5. Let's hit this one. Gate drops down. Guess what happens? He's got a little bit of a gate on me. He's on the inside. But look, I'm actually a bit more even with him. We both hike into the inside. And again, right here, I'm in my head again. You know what? He didn't stay out on the white line last lap. He's going to stay out on the white line this lap because of what he said after Moto 1. Let's see what happens. All right. He tries to stay out, but he doesn't. Look where he's aiming now. He's aiming, and you can't see this in the race, but look where he's aiming. He's aiming right here about the midway in this. And if I had just ridden the outside and stayed the outside the whole time, then I would have been okay. Now he ends up, unfortunately, nose bonk in the step up. Let's watch this. So he comes in, he hears me right there, but you can watch him right here. He ends up not standing up tall enough. He nose bonks, boom, and then he goes over. But I'm right on his outside. I am directly next to him. He's trying, now, let's learn from this, he's trying to outride the rider that he hears next to him instead of riding his lap. He unfortunately bites it, goes down right there, and I end up passing him. But if we come back to the important part right here, let's watch this lap. All right, we're hiking down the first straight. We're going, he's on the inside, he's feeling good, and I go, you know what? I've got to hike. But look at all the space. I could just ride directly next to him and ride my lap. I could, but I chose not to. And again, I push inside. He hears me there, and he look where he goes though. He goes right back to the same spot he's been, which is right here on, like, it's kind of like lane 3.5 or 4 from the right. There's plenty of space for me to stay on the outside, and instead we end up, again, bonking and going down, and that's how he ended his day. So learn from this mistake, please. Don't listen to folks as they wrap up. I mean, give high fives and fist bumps and all, but don't let them get in your head. Ride your own lap. All right, so that's it. Listen, hopefully this has been educational for you, informational. When you get out to the track, I want you to practice, and practice different scenarios on the track. That is important, but when it comes down to it, if you know to ride the white line, ride the white line. If somebody's there, you have to make some adjustments, but don't try to anticipate what the other person's gonna do and outride them and try to, anyway, just go out, get your lines, hit your marks, and you're gonna do great out there. Well, listen, if you got questions or you got comments, tell me about a race where you rode your own lap and you won, or maybe you learned the hard way like I did. Let me know down in the comments section below. But if you got questions, let me know down in the comments as well. I'm always answering questions down there. Hey, listen, share this video with somebody who is on their way to their next race. Again, whether it's a local race or it's Grands or somebody that's getting started or an intermediate rider, share this video with folks that you think can benefit from getting encouragement to go ahead and ride their own race. Focus on the lap that they need to ride and less about everybody else around them. That's it for this video. Peace.